Well, so, to give you kind of a brief, broad overview of basically what had happened is, when when I was put into place, you know, and appointed Peters as my assistant chief, I told Peters that I wanted to do like a command restructure. So move people around in command. We were sort of going back and forth between removing everybody and then slowly putting people in, or just moving people around. Ultimately decided to move people around. Just felt like it would be a healthier way to sort of do this, you know, not as shocking of a... I didn't want the shifts to suffer, right? We still needed some kind of command structure. Part of that original idea was Callista Bell. We were going to move her from sergeant to senior officer, but I hadn't really gotten a chance to have any time or see her time as a sergeant. She was on an LOA, and then she was in the ICU and doing whatever the fuck she was doing. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go against my better judgment here. I'm gonna keep her as a sergeant, let her cook, see how she operates, and then kind of make my decision, you know, based on that. Can you find somewhere to go, Peters? So we left her as sergeant. You know, I made my expectations very clear to her as what I expected for a sergeant. Mainly, like, you know, the command sets the tone in the shift. Sergeants have to be above the bullshit, you know, have to be, you know, sort of positive forces for the PD. Because there was a lot of, like, dooming and shit going on in Shift 2. A lot of people had transferred. You know, it is what it is. So I left her there. We spoke to her now multiple times because she was kind of continuing to have a negative attitude. I wasn't really seeing her come on duty. I wasn't seeing her acting as a sergeant, you know, kind of reissuing those expectations to her. And, you know, we had one kind of pretty blunt conversation with her, and she then immediately went to Bones to, like, stir and get information on us from Bones. I don't really know the details of that conversation. But then, you know, so we had made the decision we were going to demote her to a senior officer. She just basically wasn't fulfilling the duties of the role. So we talked to her last night, and, you know, we explained all this. She just comes at Peters every single time. She said that, you know, she didn't feel like Peters was fit for command, yada yada. Told her, you know, the only person's opinion who matters as to whether or not Peters is fit for the role of assistant chief is mine. If I don't feel that he is fitting that, you know, that role, he's fulfilling his duties, he won't be assistant chief. The same would go for me. If I wasn't fulfilling the roles of a chief, you can bet your ass Nino would remove me very quickly.
I would agree with that.
So, you know, we were just pretty blunt with her. We were, you know, we told her we're going to be demoting her. Then she goes on to say that, you know, she might have said that, I think she said this before we demoted her, but she said, like, she was actively trying to remove us from our role as chief and assistant chief. We went ahead and demote her. We talk a little bit more about it. We call her back and we sort of ask her, we're like, what the hell did you mean you're removing us from the role? She says she wants to go through the articles of impeachment. And, you know, I kind of prod her a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, explain to me, like, what you know about Peters. Explain to me, like, what you think you know. She literally tells me, well, I don't really know anything about Peters. I just know what I've heard. And I'm like, okay, so you have a very strong, opinionated, like, opinions of Peters, yet you don't have any facts to back it up. It was just, like, back and forth. Ultimately, you know, we asked her, we're like, do you even want to be in the LSPD at this point. Like, we keep telling you our expectations and what we need from you, and we just don't know if you can even, like, fulfill those based on you know, what you've been doing and how you've been acting. So we ended up suspending her. And so don't answer that. So right now we are I'm going to be honest with you, Robin, like, it's more about the insubordination and the fact that, you know, we have told her multiple times our expectations. She ignores them, does fuck all, and, you know, continues to be kind of in the bullshit and doesn't want to remove herself from it. And I don't think that she is a right fit for the LSPD, because I think she is actively trying to bring other officers down with her dooming, and we want to lift officers up, and I don't think she's creating a good environment for other people. But also, she has told us she is trying to impeach us, so legally, if I fire her, are, you know, there are going to be repercussions for this.
Did she say on which grounds she was looking to impeach?
No, because I'm pretty sure she doesn't know what she actually wants to impeach us on yet. I think she just wants to impeach us because she doesn't like us.
Okay, so I assume neither of you are felons. Dereliction of duties, I wouldn't say, because you guys have been really active. Negligence that leads to grave injury or harm. Again, I don't see that.
No,
I guess incompetence is her perspective.
So,
I guess?
the thing though is, like, yeah, I will admit we made a couple mistakes. But the thing about that incompetence one is it says continuous, right? Anytime we've made a mistake, we have immediately corrected it. It hasn't been we haven't been continually making the same mistake over and over again.
Yeah. And then the corruption one.
No, neither of us are corrupt.
The first clause in that statement, though, as well, for impeachment, I can't remember. I don't know. I was fucking cooked when I was reading it last night. Hold on.
So it says any government employee includes but is not limited to mayor, justice, LEO, medical employee, or any government employee. These requests require proof that a reasonable action has been taken to rectify the matter prior to appeal. Yeah.
So one thing that we talked to her over and over, because she kept saying, like, she, you know, last night she was airing her grievances, right? And I said, and one of her grievances with me was that I'm not good at communicating. I said to her, I don't think that's true, because I have contacted her multiple times to speak. She has never really reached out to me to talk. She's never reached out to Peters. When I asked her, you have a problem with Peters, have you ever taken the step to talk to him about it? She said, no, I haven't had time. Then she told us that she had a problem with Bones. I said, have you ever tried to take the time to you know, resolve the issue with Bones? Same thing. Oh, I haven't had time. And I said, okay, at some point you got to look at yourself here and think, am I actually trying to do anything to resolve this situation? Or am I just simply, you know, complaining for the sake of complaining, whether she likes the attention or, you know, she doesn't actually want to fix anything. If you don't take steps to resolve something, you can't say you're actively trying to fix it. So she's never actually tried to correct anything. If she had come to me with actual facts and said, hey, X, Y, and Z, this is bad. Okay, let's try to resolve it. The only thing that she comes to me with is that there was a situation with Loki where, you know, Peters blew up on Loki. He said some dumb shit to him. I corrected that. It has been addressed. Peters understands that, you know, he can't speak to somebody like that. But that's the only thing that she has. And she keeps talking about a situation that is over, that was resolved. There's nothing I can do further on that because it's been corrected, you know?
Yeah. Doesn't seem like she will have many legs to stand on, because first it needs to even... So first she needs to have that proof that she's tried to rectify it, which it sounds like she doesn't have. Then there's, I guess...
But like, what
where
is
does
she?
she
What is
fall?
she even trying to push against us? As far like that's the crazy thing,
I don't
is
know, okay,
I don't think that any of these things actually apply to us. Like if we were
Yeah.
legitimately doing something, but you know what I told her? I said, go ahead with the impeachment. You know, you do you. I'm not going to try to sway her one way or another. That is her right to do it, obviously.
Yeah. To me, it sounds like she doesn't agree with how you guys are running things, and is looking for, I guess, an outlet to vent her frustrations, but this isn't it.
I mean, I feel like the place to start would be to go to the mayor and say, hey, you appointed them. They're fucking up. Let me give you a list. And either he removes us or he tries to have us fix those issues. But like I said, she doesn't actually go. She just goes and complains and talks to other people and doesn't actually try to resolve the situation. You know, I told her
Yeah.
maybe she needs to start acting like an adult and start taking some accountability herself when she points the finger and says that we're not taking accountability, but I don't know what we're not taking accountability for.
Yeah, this is interesting. So also,
Should
I'm
I
not sure
get
if she would...
chicken nuggies or a
so
chicken
obviously,
sandwich?
depending on the department you're in, it's a different like fee and what you need.
yeah,
So
50,
legislative
50
authority is
signatures.
50,000.
It's 200
Nuggies?
grand and 50 signatures.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because the LSPD as a whole are part of the LS legislative authority, but her herself, she would be a people's petition. She would need the 50 signatures and the money. So I mean, maybe she could raise 50 signatures from just people on the street, but I don't know if this would even get past the DOJ review. Does the DOJ have to review it and see if it's it meets all the requirements beforehand? And I don't know if she'll have that proof that action has been taken. Like you said, she hasn't spoken to Nina, or at least we don't know that she's spoken to Nina. And even if it did go to court,
She hasn't. I spoke to Nino this morning. This was the first time that he'd ever heard of any of this. Nino's reaction was, she hasn't fucking been around. Why does she have an opinion about anything?
Fair enough. And if this went to court, I mean, like what you could...
I got a chicken sandwich
has
and
policing
nuggies.
changed? Have less people been getting caught? Has less crime? Has more crime been happening on, you know?
We've had more units on duty. Like, we've
Yeah.
had record numbers of units on duty in the past month. We've had, I think, we've hired a bunch of people in shift 1. We're looking to promote a bunch of people in shift 2. The thing that, here's what it comes down to. This is a shift 2 problem, and they're pissed off because like 5 people transferred to BCSO, and now everybody's in their feelings and like, why does people want to transfer to BCSO? It must be Moss and Peter's fault for existing.
So in her mind, like 67% of the shifts are doing well, but this one isn't doing well, so impeach
Well,
them?
I asked her, I said, are you even aware of anything else that's going on? Can you even talk about any of the good things that have happened in the department? Are you so focused on the negative that you're blind to everything else? And she didn't have anything to say about it. Because she doesn't know what the fuck is going on.